Hello, this is a video on installing a Windows XP Service Pack 3 operating system as the guest on a virtual machine and with Oracle VirtualBox on the host computer, which is the computer that's actually installed on the computer. The host is Linux Debian 9, but KDE, but the host could be just about any operating system. With VirtualBox has a version for it and can install just about anything on anything. So in this demonstration, it will be Windows on Linux though. So we'll make a new virtual machine. We'll call it Win XP Service Pack 3 for this demonstration. We'll give it 2 gigabytes. Make sure that you have enough memory. You could either use a GUI like Task Manager or Sysguard, or you could just check. In this demonstration, I have about 6 gigabytes of memory and only using 1 gigabyte right now, and so 2 gigabytes is fine. Oops, that was already there. Okay, then next, create a virtual. Back to this, if you're going to run multiple Windows XP instances at the same time on the host, then you might want to allocate less. But if it's just going to be one virtual machine running at a time, then 2 in this computer should be fine. If you have more RAM than me, then you can add more RAM to the memory size, or if you have less RAM, then allocate less RAM. And virtual hard disk, we'll create a virtual hard disk just to go through the steps. You could use an existing virtual hard disk file. What a hard disk file is tricking the guest operating system into thinking that it's a hard drive, but it's actually a file that the operating system gets installed on. So we'll just use the default VDI VirtualBox disk image. We'll make it fixed, because dynamically allocated is a little slower, even though it can expand as you put more data on that virtual hard disk. But I like using the fixed size. I'm not going to use much data on this, so I'll give it 20 gigabytes. And now we have a new virtual machine. I'm going to tweak this one a little bit. Let's look at this, shared folders. I want to have a shared folder where I could transfer a file from the guest, or from the host to the guest, and vice versa. We'll auto mount it. So once we get it set up, we'll be able to put files in this folder and transfer it in between the host and the guest operating systems, and that's the only way that they'll be able to access each other. Okay, if you want to share a clipboard, like copy and paste from one to the other, then you would select that here. If you want to drag and drop a item or a file or a folder, then you would adjust that right here. The system We already adjusted the memory, or set up the memory. I'm going to try this time. Normally I don't try that, but I've been having trouble with, actually no, I'm not going to try that. I've been having trouble with Windows XP Service Pack 1 lately. I don't know if Microsoft took down the authentication servers in 2017, or if the hardware clock is off on the virtual machine. But part of this video is to test in Service Pack 3 if it still works, or if it's a problem in both of them. With the processors, you want, if you have two processors or two core on your computer, then you want to keep one core for the guest. So I can only allocate one core. If you have 4 cores, then it can allocate up to 3 cores to the guest. And that's all that we'll mess with right here. And let's take a look at the network. Okay, they have Pro, T-Server, Intel, and so we'll save the settings. We have the Windows XP disk in the drive already, and we'll start this. Yes, it's there. Okay, it says enter to set up Windows XP now, so we'll press enter. We'll agree to that and install on the partition space, which is the 20 gigabyte file that we set up as a virtual disk. And then we'll format the partition quick for the purposes of this demonstration. And it's supposed to be quick. Oh, 20%. Still thinking. Oh, that is quick. Okay, so I walked away, came back just in time for it to reboot. So it's rebooting. I don't want to boot from the CD because it's already partially installed. And let's see, installing Windows. Okay, here it's giving you the option to change regional and language options. And standards and formats are set to English, United States, and location is set to United States. That's accurate. US keyboard layout, that's accurate, so I don't need to change any of those. Then it wants my name, and it won't let me go on without it, so I'll give it a name. And this is the stage that I had trouble getting to in Service Pack 1. So I'll pause this. Okay, so I have put the registration key in. It hasn't tried to authenticate yet, so we'll see if that works. Usually put VB on the VirtualBox installations, and then just a description of the operating system. Okay. And it is Central Time here. Clock is accurate. So we'll allow that. Okay. And now it's going to install some stuff for a while. Okay, it is finished installing and is ready for another reboot. Let's see what happens now. Still don't want to install from the boot from the CD because it's already installed. And it's starting to load. Okay, that's fine. I'll move this over here. Okay. So we're waiting. Oh, it's a different animation than it had for Service Pack 1. And we'll deal with the updates later. And once we have it set up, we'll disconnect it from the internet. Okay. Okay, we'll say it's through network. I don't want their special offers. Okay, that's my name. Alright. Okay, I'm finished. Okay. You might notice I'm not very patient with Windows. And well, on here I'll insert the guest edition CD image. For VirtualBox, this is the set of drivers. And that's it. Reboot now. Okay. So we'll let Windows adjust its display settings. And then and there's no antivirus installed, but once we're done with the updates, we're not even going to have this on the internet. So if we want to look at the shared folders, we would go to My Computer, and there's a file in the network drive. That's the VBox serve. That's a VirtualBox shared file. So everything's working right there. So we'll try one more time on Windows update. See if it'll work now. Okay, let's check the internet options. Make sure it allows all the stuff that needs to allow. Okay, so that's fine. Basically, I'm going to reduce the security and the privacy settings to a very low level, just to make sure that we can connect. And over here, I want that to be selected. And anything else? This might work. Okay, let's try again. Tools, Windows Update. Nope. I knew I had to install this, download and install it for Service Pack 1. Let's try it for here too. It's Windows Update Agent 30-8x86. Sorry, Windows Update Agent 30-x86 for a 32-bit operating system like this is. You have to search for it on the internet, look for a Microsoft website to get it from. Okay, so we'll finish that. We'll run this, see if it helps. Okay, the update agent is installed, but it's not loading there yet, so we'll try Windows Update again, see if that helps. Looks like it's loading something. And that's what it needed. And it wants to install another Windows Update program. Okay, install now. Okay. Oh, good. We have lots of updates to install. Good. So we'll install these updates. And I'll stop the video for now while it installs the updates. Okay, next thing that I want to show, and this I had a question about whether it truly authenticated my activation key. So you go to All Programs, Accessories, System Tools, and System Information. And this will tell you information about your operating system. And it says I'm in Afghanistan, even though I told them I'm not. And I don't see anything about days left for activation. So in that case, it should be active. Another way to, another thing to check would be the system. And it doesn't say anything about needing activation still. It says it's registered to me. So that's probably why it's taking updates. Okay, so I'm pretty much done with the updates. I'll check one more time, see if any updates got or are still there, because Windows does do sequential updates. No high priority updates any longer. There's some optional software, but since I'm not really going to use this anyway, I don't need it. If you want to install optional software, it's up to you, or if you later decide that you want it, then you could reconnect. So now I will just turn off the network. It says the network cable is unplugged, so it's offline. It's in a VirtualBox file. The only output to the rest of the world is through that shared folder. So let's look at that. So that's the only way, this folder here, to transfer files back and forth between the rest of the world and this, the way that this is set up, or through thumb drive. So it's cut off, it's updated, and it's ready to be used for that old, hard to find, outdated software that doesn't work on modern operating systems. You can still use it on this, and there's a low risk of having Windows XP compromised. And even if it does get compromised, don't use it for internet browsing. Just keep it cut off. And if it does get compromised, that's what backups are for, and it's easy in VirtualBox. I'll show you once this shuts down. Should shut down pretty soon. Any day now. There it goes. So just clone it, right click, clone. You can even do the date. And if you're going to run it at the same time for some reason as the other one on the network, then you would want to reinitialize the MAC address. And might as well do a full clone. It's going to use more space on the hard drive doing it that way, but and the minutes remaining are all over the place. That looks like it'll be longer than I want to keep the video going. So as you can see, I've used clones before. On Debian server, I removed some. So let's just clone it, have as a backup, and if it gets compromised somehow, then delete it and use a clone. So that's it. Thank you for watching. And one other thing, I had trouble with Service Pack 1, but not this disk. Now, I don't know if it's the difference between this being Service Pack 1, there it is, being an OEM disk for another computer, or if it's just issues with Service Pack 1. But this disk was for Service Pack 3 that I had was different, where you put the product key in at the beginning. So that might have been the difference in why one got authenticated and the other didn't. Okay, thank you. Bye.